Okay, I got some good stories for you today. Hopefully, these are things that you enjoy as much as I enjoyed them. It's not always easy to find exciting and or good and positive comic book stories, and that's what I intend to do here. There's enough on the internet of things that we don't like about comic books. And I think we're all filled up with that stuff, right? That's just not my personality. I can't spend all day thinking about the things I don't like. I want to cover and talk about things that I enjoy. That's part of the excitement of comic book collecting, geek culture. I'm not naive, and I recognize that there are things within the geek space that are not great, but there are some things that are good. So hopefully I will find for you some of these things. One of these things, the Rippaverse has announced, Rippaverse Comics, you know I'm a fan, have announced their launch date for Zalen, which I believe they said is their first galactic hero. Now I wonder how that works with Yaira. She comes from another realm. So I guess that's not galactic. I'm not exactly sure how all of that works out. So we'll see how that plays out within a Rippaverse. Anyway, we'll look at this trailer. It's not a huge trailer, it's not long, but it's a good one. I like it. It gave me everything I needed to know. The date, some excitement. So yeah, I'm good. 3/14, 2025. Zalen from the mind of Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett. Chuck Dixon is a legend within his own right. And I would say if Joe Bennett is not a legend, he is at a bare minimum a legend in the making. Of course, that is my opinion. You probably have a different opinion, but this so wasn't necessarily exciting news per se, but it's kind of exciting news. It's exciting news for fans in Europe that haven't gotten the opportunity and a chance to enjoy conventions like we have. Now, I'm sure I didn't look into this in advance. I'm sure that there are comics conventions in Europe. I'm not exactly sure how big those conventions are or where they are, but San Diego Comic Con is the con of them all. Now, as far as I know, I always thought San Diego Comic Con was the first comics convention, but I believe that was actually, hold on, let me look. I believe that was actually held in New York, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. What was the first comic book convention ever ever hosted, ever held? I guess that's what I want to say. Let's see. The first comic book convention ever held is widely considered to be the New York Comic Con, which took place on July 27th to the 28th, 1968, at the Workman Circle building in New York City, organized by Bernie Bubness and Ron Fradkin. This event, often cited as the pioneering comic book convention, bringing together fans, collectors, and creators to celebrate the medium. It was a small grassroots gathering compared to the modern comics convention, with an estimated attendance of around 50 to 100 people, but it laid the groundwork for what would become a global phenomenon. Sometimes called the 1964 New York Comic Con, in retrospect, the event predates the more famous San Diego Comic Con, which began in 1970. So I was actually looking that up beforehand and saw something about that and thought, oh man, I knew nothing about this. So anyway, San Diego Comic Con going global. Now, why this matters? This is a big deal, as I said, but here's some other things I looked up. And so this is the reason I looked these other things up. I was at MegaCon in Orlando this year. I went Saturday, which was their busiest day. We got there early. We saw a bunch of things getting in early. There wasn't a bunch of foot traffic, and then we went to the Geeks and Gamers panel in one of the theaters. Now, after we came out of that, now I didn't know what to expect. This is the first MegaCon that I've gone to. I was gonna go last year. Things happened. Didn't get a chance to go. Thankfully, this year I did. The size of the crowds tripled. And I think the Geeks and Gamers panel we went to was like an hour, 45 minutes maybe. When we left that panel, oh my goodness, going back down to the convention floor, I was like, holy moly, there's a lot of people. It was absolutely packed. Now, the reason I say that, and there's a discrepancy uh, among some reports of what the crowd size was of Orlando MegaCon. Now, there's various different numbers called out. So I'm going to give you all of the numbers. So on the official so let me see. On the official MegaCon website, I think it cites, I'm trying to find where I looked this up. Okay, yeah. Fan Expo HQ.com, MegaCon Orlando's official website states that over 180,000 fans attended the event. Now, My News 13 says 160,000. Wikipedia says 210,000. You can't always trust Wikipedia. It's not always wrong, but that definitely would not be my go-to source. If I had 5 different sources of information, I'm not saying that I would just completely discard Wikipedia, but if there was a discrepancy, I would go with the other sources over Wikipedia personally. So I'm going to go with MegaCon's official website, 180,000 people. That is crazy over the 4-day period. It went from Thursday to Sunday. Now, there's a reason I'm giving these numbers. I want you to keep this in mind because I think there's several reasons why San Diego Comic-Con is going international. And I believe competition is one of those reasons. San Diego Comic-Con has to separate itself. Other cons, other conventions are getting to the point. I'm not going to say they're as big as far as cultural influence, but they're getting so big in numbers that they might begin to rival San Diego Comic-Con in cultural relevance. Now, San Diego Comic-Con has some exclusive things that happen there. If you've been a geek, especially over the last, I'd say 25 years or so, when Comic-Con is going on, you're just waiting for those videos coming from Hall H to hit the internet, to hit YouTube. You know there's going to be some announcement that's either going to make you mad or get you excited, or maybe a mix of both. But it's a big deal. So I looked up, this is another thing I looked up. Now, I looked this up before, and it was kind of hard getting the numbers because the numbers were all over the place. So I had to figure out exactly how to search this. So the reason I did this is just to show you that, San Diego Comic-Con has legitimate competition. Okay, so the San Diego Convention Center encompasses a total of 2.6 million square feet, right? This is huge. That's huge. The exhibit space, 525,000 feet. Meeting room, 72 meeting rooms, 204,000 square feet. That's crazy. A 40,000 square foot ballroom. Sales pavilion, 90,000 square feet. Pre-function lobby and registration area, 284,000 square feet. Outdoor terrace, 184,000 square feet for a combined 2.6 million square feet. That's massive. But what you don't understand, or what you might not know, if you've never been to Orlando, come visit. Fun place. If you've never been to Orlando, you have no conception of how big Orange County Convention Center is. It's massive. When you pull up, like the first time I drove past it, I was like, bro, what on the planet Earth is this monstrosity of a structure? It's crazy. Okay, so the Orange County Convention Center. Now remember, San Diego Convention Center, 2.6 million square feet. The Orange County Convention Center, or OCCC as it's called, Orlando, Florida, encompasses a total area of 7 million square feet, making it the second largest convention center in the United States. This expansive facility is divided into two main buildings. West Building, 4 million square feet. North-South Building, 3 million square feet. Within the total space, the OCCC offers exhibit space, 2 million square feet. West Building, 1.1 million square feet. North-South Building, 950 square feet. Meeting rooms, 74 rooms totaling 479,000 square feet. West Building, 49 rooms, 313,000 square feet. North-South Building, 25 rooms, 166,000 square feet. The point I'm making is San Diego Comic-Con has some real competition. Now, MegaCon doesn't have all of the exclusives, but there was a lot of celebrities here. A lot of celebrities. And there was some big names here. It was a lot of fun, a lot of exhibits, a lot of things going on. San Diego Comic-Con is still the con of cons. Not taking that from it. But it's got to do something a little more to compete now. And this actually works to the benefit of people who have enjoyed comic books in the geek space internationally. Now they get to, in many ways, participate in the thing that's really only been in the West for so many years. This is a good thing. I'm definitely excited for international fans. So let's get into this story. San Diego Comic-Con is going international. First location revealed. The San Diego Comic-Con is expanding internationally for the first time in its 5-decade history, with Malaga, Spain, announced as the inaugural overseas location for the world's most influential pop culture convention. The Spanish edition will run from September 25th to 28th, 2025, marking a watershed moment for the organization that has previously limited its officially branded events to Southern California. This expansion represents a significant strategic shift from Comic-Con International, the nonprofit organization that oversees the convention, as it seeks to extend its cultural footprint beyond North America while offering international fans access to the authentic Comic-Con experience without requiring transcontinental travel. That's a big deal. And I wonder if they're going to have some things exclusively revealed at this event in Malaga, Spain. That would actually be dope. And that would be dope for the fans that are in Europe. And being in Spain, I'm sure they're going to pull people from Italy, Germany, the UK, France. So all of these different countries, if you've never been to Europe, a lot of these countries are very easy to get to from other countries. They're actually, it's Europe is big, but not as big as you think. And a lot of these countries are actually easy to get to from other countries. So the decision to launch an international edition comes at a time when San Diego Comic-Con has far outgrown its humble origins, evolving from a small comics-focused gathering of just 300 attendees in 1970 to a massive cultural touchstone that now accommodates approximately 135,000 fans annually, while being forced to turn away countless others due to capacity limitations. So that was the reason why I went over those numbers from MegaCon, just so you could see, San Diego Comic-Con has some legit competition And they definitely have to now do something to set themselves apart. Because look, things change, times change, things transition. You see how Blockbuster was once it, Netflix came in, Blockbuster didn't adjust, didn't think they had to adjust, and now there's only one in existence. I think it's in Washington State, if I'm not mistaken. Only one still in existence. So San Diego Comic-Con, probably seeing the writing on the wall, they're like, yo, we're going to have to adjust or somebody else is going to eat our lunch and we can't have that happen. And I'm glad. I'm glad. I don't like seeing things just collapse and go away. I would have preferred Blockbuster to adjust their strategy and still be around. I kind of miss, I'm nostalgic about Blockbuster. I can't lie. As David Glanzer, Chief Communication and Strategy Officer of San Diego Comics Convention, explained, Malaga's vibrant cultural scene and modern facilities made it an ideal partner for Comic-Con's first international venture. The Mediterranean coastal city, already known for its prestigious film festival, will now add Comic-Con to its calendar, potentially transforming the European convention landscape while providing a blueprint for possible future international events. And I wonder if what they plan on doing is maybe going to different European countries every year and like not going to the same exact place, right? Us here in the United States, we know where San Diego Comic Con is going to be every year, right? San Diego. So you can plan in advance, go. It is kind of expensive, which again, that's another reason why I think they kind of have to diversify a little bit, set themselves apart, do something, because there are other conventions that are beginning to encroach on San Diego Comic Con's territory. And if you look at the numbers space wise between Orange County Convention Center and San Diego Convention Center, I'm going to be honest, it's about eyeballs. If I'm one of these big content houses, I'm like, let's see, go all out for this convention or we can go out for this other one. And they have more eyeballs. They're all about money. More eyeballs means more money, more notice, more focus. Now, I'm sure there's more to it than just that. And I'm sure San Diego Comic-Con, first mover advantage. I'm sure they got some killer deal worked out with a lot of these industries. So who knows? That's probably something that will never be broken, but you don't know. While specific programming details remain unannounced, industry insiders anticipate the Malaga edition will feature the same blend of panels, exhibits, autograph sessions, and exclusive reveals that have made the San Diego event legendary within entertainment circles. The 4-day format mirrors the traditional July convention, suggesting a comparable scale and scope despite being held in a new location. For Spanish fans and those throughout Europe, this expansion eliminates the significant financial and logistical barriers that have previously prevented many from experiencing the convention firsthand, potentially democratizing access to what has become one of the entertainment industry's most significant annual gatherings. And that it is indeed. Whatever you feel about San Diego Comic-Con, it is a cultural force. That is a fact. The importance of San Diego Comic-Con can be measured through the landmark announcements that have occurred on its stages. For instance, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige revealed the entirety of the studio's Phase 3 film slate at a special 2014 event, including the first announcement of Black Panther and Captain Marvel films. Warner Bros. Used 2015's convention to debut first footage from Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, bringing the unprecedented sight of Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill together in costume to thunderous audience response. And those audience responses are thunderous. Like, even watching the video, you can tell. In 2019, Tom Cruise made a surprise appearance to unveil the first Top Gun Maverick trailer, while the cast of Game of Thrones received a hero's welcome following their controversial final season. Controversial is a light way to put that final season. The convention's famous Hall H has become hallowed ground for pop culture enthusiasts, with fans camping overnight, sometimes for multiple days, to secure seats for the most anticipated presentations, creating an atmosphere unmatched at any other entertainment event. And it is. You can tell that it's unmatched. But for how long? And so I can see taking this global really sets them apart. It really does set them apart. Like they're in a league, they're in the big leagues, but that doesn't mean their competition is not on their heels. Beyond serving as a marketing platform for San Diego Comic-Con, uh, this excuse me, beyond serving as a marketing platform, San Diego Comic-Con functions as a creative incubator where entertainment professionals and various disciplines converge. Writers, artists, directors, and performers use the convention to promote current projects and find inspiration for future work. The convention's Artist Alley has launched countless careers, while its panel discussions frequently pair established industry veterans with emerging talents. The cross pollination has influenced everything from Hollywood's embrace of comic book adaptations to television, increased investment in science fiction and fantasy storytelling. The decision to expand internationally suggests Comic Con sees an opportunity to foster similar creative communities abroad, potentially discovering new voices that might otherwise remain isolated from the primarily American entertainment ecosystem. The first San Diego Comic Con Malaga will take place, we already said that earlier, September 25th, 28, 2025, and the programming guest announcements are expected to be in the coming months. So look, that's a big deal. I think San Diego Comic-Con, they realize we really do have to diversify. If we want to stay as the top dogs, we're going to have to go to some more places because there's other conventions that are encroaching on our territory and they're drawing big crowds. And like I said, MegaCon drew a ginormous crowd. It was crazy. It was jumping in that place. It was like geeks as far as the eye can see and geek stuff and geek culture as far as the eye can see. Huge. That's the first time I've been inside that convention center, and it was absolutely crazy. So yeah, what do you think about this? San Diego Comic-Con going international. I think this is a good thing. I'm excited for fans overseas that have yet to go to such a massive event and be able to meet, some of their favorite artists. Who knows what artists will be discovered from a con in Europe? You never know.